Right of the slain soldier in Ashaiman is underway at the 37 military hospital. He will later be taken to the military cemetery. The 25-year-old soldier was met his untimely death last weekend when there was a clash between some youth. Dozens of residents, mainly the youth, bikers and other private road users, were randomly stopped and brutalized by the soldiers in the process. There's been a general public condemnation of the military brutality supposedly aimed at meting out justice to Sheriff Imoro's Sheriff Imoro. Several others who were arrested in a subsequent police swoop from the incident have been screened and released. We will be hearing their accounts shortly, as some are still yet to recover from the brutality suffered at hands of the military. Let's cross over live to 37 Military Hospital, where my colleague James Aveji is covering the funeral. James, if we have James on, James, bring us up to speed as to what is happening at the event. We'll be going live to the Ashaiman community also, where my colleague Maxwell Agbagba earlier engaged with some victims and of the brutality that were meted on them last Monday. But this is a recap of what has happened so far as we try to get James Aveji, our man on the ground, to tell us more about this. Military men stormed the Ashaiman town in a swoop to identify the killers of the slain soldier. And in that event, they arrested about 180 civilians who, according to the MP of the area, 150 have been released so far, and they still have 30 people in the custody of the police. There's been several condemnations over what the military did, brutalizing innocent people. The defense minister has since apologized for the brutalization of innocent people, but he says the operation was sanctioned and therefore government will not apologize for that. My colleague James Aveji is there for us. If James, you're on, bring us up to speed as to what is happening currently at the burial service. Well, we're still trying to get James Aveji to join us. We'll also get Maxwell Agbagba, who is in the Ashaiman community. The community is angry at what has happened. There's been several condemnations over what the military did on Tuesday. We'll be getting more from that community and from the burial service of the slain soldier Imoro Sheriff. But let's get... let's take you back to the burial ceremony, where you can see the live feeds there. The slain soldier Sheriff Imoro is about to be buried according to Muslim traditional practice. You can see that some Muslim clerics assisting the military to actually do that. And of course, he's a 25-year military personnel. He's been less than a year in the military. We're told that he was murdered on during the weekend, and that actually led to a military invasion to that community on Tuesday. We're just hearing of how people were brutalized by the military. The defense minister has since apologized to innocent people who were brutalized during the operation, but he says that operation was sanctioned because they wanted to fish out the perpetrators of that heinous crime. So just as you can see on your screens, that's the 37 military cemetery where the slain soldier is being buried according to Islamic traditional practice. We'll be getting more from our correspondent James Aveji, who's been there. There are a lot of people who are eulogizing the young man. They've described him as a hero. We'll be hearing more of that, but that's the situation that led to his burial. It's unclear what led to this the soldier being murdered, but we're told that the crime was committed by some young people. So 180 people were arrested on Tuesday when the military invaded that community. 150 out of the 180 have since been released. We're told that there are still 30 of them, but you heard a resident from Ashaiman describing the kind of beatings that people received from the military when they invaded that community. She said that one of her children had already been involved in an accident and it was in the process of healing, but through that act, he's unable to walk. She says that he's limping as we speak. She also talked about one of her children who has a disease, hernia, and also had not eaten even at the time the military invaded the place. And she said that he was beaten to pulp. She's seen a lot of bruises on his body. We'll definitely go back to that town because there is some kind of fear in that community. The MP of the area, Ns Nogbe, has says that they will go to court to demand justice for what has happened. But the defense minister, Deputy Defense Minister Ashaiman, has also apologized for the brutalization of the innocent people who were involved in this whole incident. But he says that the operation was sanctioned and he will not apologize for that operation because it's an order that came from above. So, but then he says in the process, those who were brutalized innocently, that he will apologize for. So he's been justifying the operation. He says it was sanctioned to actually fish out those who committed this crime. And you can see the military at the cemetery paying their last respect to the slain soldier. Some have described him as a hero, even though he hasn't been long in the military. Definitely, we will be getting a lot more from the burial service. We'll be getting more from the community, but also we are also hearing fresh from the MP for Bon Katamanso, who is Joseph Akwete. He says that it's not only the residents of Ashaiman who were brutalized by the military, but he says that they went into his constituency as well. That's Bon Katamanso constituency, and forced some of his constituents to consume cow excreta. The honorable member said that his constituents are living in fear as we speak, with some already fleeing the community. This is something we'll be interrogating further. Our correspondent, Kwekwa Sante, will be joining us with more on this to find out if those people in that community, in the Bon Katamanso community, also were arrested. We'll be finding out more from him, and we'll also be finding out if some of them were injured through this exercise. So we'll be getting more on that, but definitely on your screens, you can see those who are assisting with the burial service. Definitely these young men you see are loved ones. I'm sure they are friends and family of the slain soldier, who people have described as a hero. He's less than a year in the military, but they say he's a hero. We'll be hearing more from the funeral ground. So that was Saints, the 37 military cemetery where the slain soldier Sheriff Imoro is being buried according to Islamic traditions. We'll be getting more from our correspondents who are monitoring this for us. But let's speak with our colleague James Aveji, who is monitoring events for us. James, what can you report from the military cemetery?
activities from his colleague military officers before the body was conveyed from the 37 military hospital to the Bemakam cemetery here in Accra. When we got here, there was a short prayer by the graveside where the Muslims imam, we saw the vehicle of the chief imam who was around to also pay his last respect as well as lead the religious activities at the 37 military mosque. And then we are here at the cemetery. The late soldier Sheriff Imoro's colleagues or his colleague officers are here together with high-ranking military officers, family members, as well as his schoolmate from the Ekwehuman Senior High School are all here in Akosombo to pay their last respect for him. What we're witnessing now is the final sermon, Islamic sermon, and he has been lowered into the grave, covered already, but the prayers and sermon is ongoing for him. We can take a listen to with the classmate of the slain soldier.
وصلوا له تثبيتا فإنه الآن يسأل أو واسألوا له تثبيتا فإنه الآن يسأل. Don't rush going home. But however, there is a tradition that we need to do. And this tradition are to pray for him in order to be able to answer the questions of those angels in the grave who are coming to interrogate with him. And then two, we should seek forgiveness of Allah for him, because now that we have buried him, even now he is with him. They are with him. That is why Prophet Muhammad is saying that Hasibu anfusakum kabla an tuhasabu. Kind should judge themselves before the final judgment. Hasibu anfusakum kabla an tuhasabu. That we should judge ourselves before Allah the Almighty will judge us in this grave. Whether you like it or not, or what you have, you will leave it. One day, you will also be in this posture. So Almighty Allah.
Well, may his soul rest in perfect peace. So other